Three, two, and one. Hi, everyone. Have a very good afternoon to you all. If you're based right here in Asia, and good day to you. Good day to you if you are based elsewhere. I have a very special guest today here with me. We are actually hosting a special webinar session. And the title of this webinar is actually called Rewire and Rebuild Team Capabilities. My name is Dalen, sir, and I'm the founder and general manager here at Curious Core, and we specialize in contextualized training for teams and helping teams to build technology capabilities and navigate technology with their transformation. And with me here today, I have Cadell. Cadell is actually one of our instructors for our Gen AI programs, but he also has a full-time job as a HR manager. So Cadell happens to be one of the most technical HR professional that I know within my own business network. And he is also a very, very curious individual, I'll say, and has been teaching our automation classes as well as byte coding classes as well. So today he works as a HR manager and is an experienced HR practitioner with more than 12 years of experience over here. So welcome to the show, Cadell. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Thanks for having me on, Dylan. I'm really excited to be here and sharing my experience in HR and also my passion in technology.
Yeah, so today we have a special webinar because this is kind of outside the usual um, us talking about product management, product design. And I think it warrants some explanation for our audience over here. The reason why we are hosting this special webinar is because we, as technology practitioners, we're seeing AI disrupting lots of jobs, and we're seeing that the nature of jobs is evolving. And I thought it's really interesting that we can get a HR professional here today to speak about your observations as well. So yeah, you wanna kind of like briefly share like an overview of what you're observing on the nature of jobs, skills, and especially around us here in Singapore.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I think I'll just begin by saying that how has AI changed the way we work, and then after that, I'll also talk a little bit about how we can prepare our teams or rather our company and organization as a whole to be able to leverage on AI technology, and then after that, be more productive as a whole. And of course, finally, I think what I will be talking about is also the possibility that we have to redesign some of the role in the firm that may previously be more manual in nature to a more perhaps AI-driven kind of scenario, right? So basically, I feel that AI is here to increase the productivity of any company or any firm who is willing to embrace it. So, of course, we've seen a lot of examples on social media. The nice example will be people leverage AI and notice their productivity skyrocket. And then we've also seen the opposite of that, where people adopted AI, realized that it's not working for them, and then they decided to give up AI. And some of these companies re-strategize and then adopt AI again later on. But some of these companies is like, nah, AI is not for me. AI is not ready for our business. And then they just put it aside. But personally, as someone who's really interested and passionate about technology and I think AI is here to actually help us. But before I actually talk about the benefits of AI, I would like to give a little bit of background information about myself. I actually, like what Dylan say, I am in HR for more than 12 years. I'm a self-taught developer. So I think it was in my second job that my second HR job, I was doing some of this administrative work. Back then, I was still very fresh, very green in the HR space. And many HR people will probably tell you the same as well. In the beginning part of their career, they're really just administrative people, recording this, recording that, do admin work. And almost everything that I was doing, right, I see an opportunity to actually automate those tasks so that I don't have to do it myself. Initially, I thought maybe I'm just a lazy person, but later on, I see the business value of being productive and being able to automate these tasks means that I'm able to take on higher level thinking stuff. But there's always one thing I wanted to automate that is very difficult and I couldn't find a way to automate, and that is the job of replying to email. And today, with Gen AI and LLM, there is a very good possibility that we could automate replying to queries via email or via chat, like Slack or whatsoever. So I think that we are living in a very exciting time, and I think AI has a lot to bring, and we are has a lot of value to offer, and we are only in the beginning. So yeah, so I think
Mm, yeah.
we should all really pay attention to the development of AI.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, both you and I are extremely excited about the possibilities of introducing AI at work, as we often do in our respective organizations. And personally, for me, also doing so for some of our consulting client work as well, to help with automation. And I think we also share a lot of um, very much about the tools, and what can AI do, what can AI not do well, and we're very realistic, right? When the tool is quite credible, it's quite consistent and reliable. We definitely would introduce it within our own respective organizations and see how much productivity gains we unlock. So I think let me start from a very high level, right? You are a HR professional. Specifically, you are a HR manager for a company that has a few hundred employees. And I'm just wondering from your perspective, right? How do you see yourself as a HR professional being part of the company's adoption of AI? How do you think, as a functional specialist, your function being HR, yeah, how should we kind of see like teams, operating teams or designing teams in future?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think that the culture of the company plays a very big part in adopting AI. So, the company that I work for is very tech forward. So since day one, right, tech has been a big part of uh, our so-called design at my current employer, Sleek, by the way, Sleek. So if you are interested, you can go read up more about Sleek. We are essentially a tech-first company. So almost everything that we do has a tech component to it. And we have 4 to 5 proprietary technology that we open it up to our clients to use. And these platforms are aimed at alleviating the manual work that people have to normally do. So we have like accounting tech software to corporate secretary tech software, and we also try to integrate as much as possible with API to government services like IRAS or even CPF. So as far as possible, anything that can be run through using technology, we will. And that is the culture since day one. We are very tech forward. We want to use tech in every area of our work. So very naturally, when AI started to emerge, right, we are also somewhere at the forefront of this so-called revolution. And I can share with you one area that we really prioritize is right now in this time is really AI. So because technology is part of our culture and AI is something that we want people, everyone in the company to embrace, we are so tech forward that we even put that into our performance appraisal. So when somebody joins the firm, at the end of the 3 months, there will be a confirmation performance appraisal, right? which is very common in a lot of company. One of the questions during this appraisal, right, is being asked to both the manager and the employee, how much AI do they use? So the employee will have to put in what they use AI for, and the manager will be like evaluating on their use of AI. Is it proper usage? Did they check the work of AI to make sure that while we are using AI, we need to make sure that what we do is also accurate. And we all know that AI has a possibility of hallucinating, and they also have a tendency to assume when we do not provide enough information or enough context. So that is the kind of culture that I feel will be best and also the prime to actually adopt AI. So for any company out there today who are actually looking to do AI transformation within their organization or team, they first need to be very technology driven. They need to embrace this culture where all the, when all these AI tools are being released, they should be, trying it out at least, not adopt it immediately. They need to try it out at least and try to and see if that actually fits into their work. And if it does, great, adopt it. If it doesn't, then that's fine. Go look for another tool. And if you're already on Google Workspace, that's even better because we already have Gemini, and you can use AI to search files. You can use AI to write documents, write policy. You can even use it to write AI best practices if you really want to, right? So if you're already on Google Workspace, Gemini is already there. If you're on Microsoft, I believe there's Microsoft Copilot as well. And it's very heavily integrated into the workspace. So any company who is looking to embrace and start adopting AI tool, start with whatever that you already have. All right. If you're on Google Workspace, Gemini is part of the plan. You are already paying for it. Just use it. Do not be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid of the AI not being able to do what you want it to do, because it's still a technology being developed. Just use it first. It will improve over time. So use it first at least. Make sure that you stretch every single buck that you pay to your provider, be it Google Workspace or Microsoft 365. Just use this AI tool first, and then we will eventually, or rather, I think this AI or LLM provider eventually will want to integrate more tools so that you can do more with them as well. And it's very exciting because we are seeing an inflection point of adoption of agents, LLM or AI agents, that will actually automate perhaps most of the
So,
grunt work that we are
so
going
let
to
me
do.
just let me just put it out there and be very clear that even for a very technology-centric company like yours, which most people would consider a tech startup, your company's position is not to replace human beings with AI agents, but to actually enable human beings to work better with AI tools and be even more productive with AI tools. Did I get that position correct?
That's right. Yeah, so excuse me. So um since I joined the company till now, I've never
Mm,
seen anyone left the team uh because of AI have taken over their job. So
mm,
I don't think, although I cannot say that this is not happening. We do see company, even big companies, like Facebook, and of course more recently maybe SAP, I believe, let certain people go due to AI disruption. Um,
mm,
well, I mean, at least for Slick, right, we are not using AI to replace people, but rather we are
mm.
augmenting people with the capability of AI to help them be more productive. So see AI
So
is like a computer.
yeah. Mm.
So we are
I
more
think I
productive.
think that's really a very valuable perspective. And as a HR professional, right, as a technologist that's pushing AI adoption within your organization and being one of the first change agents in the organization to be I would say, a citizen developer, meaning that you're developing applications for your company, what kind of productivity levels are we looking at over here? Are we looking at, a 20% productivity increase, a 30% productivity increase, or as much as a 100% productivity increase? What should be realistic based on what you're seeing?
Um, it will be very difficult for me to put a number or pluck a number out of the air and say this is the number that we should look at, because
Mm,
um it kind of, AI is something that we add on to whatever chain of or tool belt of technology that
mm,
we are already using. Now, for example, as a HR, we use HRMS system, right?
mm,
So whether the HRMS system um, is able to increase our productivity with the help of AI is also highly dependent on what the HRMS is able to do alongside AI. What kind of API is being exposed? What kind of task can be so-called triggered from the LLM interface without having us to actually log into the HRMS to execute that task
mm,
manually. So it also depends on the technology that we already have. But if
mm.
you ask me, what I've seen, right, in terms of productivity increase, I would say that it's about a 30% increase on average across the different kind of task that
And
I've seen,
and
that
this is quite
yeah,
dependent on how competent, right, people are in using their AI tools as well.
yeah, and also whatever system or software that they are already using, that they are trying to integrate AI.
Mm, mm. I think that 30% is a really good start. And as you said, right, we're actually just at the beginning of using AI tools. And people were today once again asking if this whole thing about AI is a bubble, right? And even the financiers are saying, hey, it's not a bubble. It's actually necessary to invest in all this infrastructure because it's like the internet, it's like electricity, it's like the railroad. So having all this like structural infrastructure kind of like investment is necessary, and we're just only seeing the very very early results of what a human and AI partnership could look like. So 30%, I think, is an amazing start. It really justifies a lot of the cost that's going into it. Um, I'm also wondering, with this adoption of
Hmm.
Gen AI tools in as part of your work as a functional lead, like a HR lead in your company, um, I'm wondering, is there a need to help people reskill other than giving them, like giving them training about using these tools, right? Is there a need to help them, for example, to see their jobs differently or to actually think about things in a slightly different manner? Because now, as a HR person, you said I'm no longer doing administrative job, right? Maybe an AI agent is doing it. Maybe I'm using ChatGPT Copilot or something to actually do the analysis. So, what kind of new skills do you think we need to be more, I would say, more in sync as a professional that uses AI well? Yeah.
Yeah, I think for any company, if let's say you are at the beginning of this AI transformation, um, do not go into too much, complex details on how you should redesign the job. Start with letting AI execute the task as if AI is another employee. So, in other words, don't change your SOP just yet. Just see how you can actually integrate AI into any role, and then or any processes or function in your company, and allow AI to actually do the work with the supervision of
A
a
human being.
human being, preferably. Um,
That
and
sounds a lot like treating it as an intern, and and just
Yes.
instructing an intern to do the work. Okay.
Yeah, in a way, yes. Right. So in
Mm,
order for any employee to succeed in their role, you need to provide them with the knowledge and the tools to actually get the job done. So it's no different to an AI, right? AI also need the relevant so-called tool and knowledge. And for the first time in our life, right, we can instruct AI to do things based on natural language instruction instead of having anybody to learn like a computer programming language, to get a computer to do something for you. So AI is now learning our language, and it has never been easier to automate things with computer and automating things with AI. So
mm,
to get started, if you are at the beginning of this AI transformation, just try to treat AI as another team member, like an intern. Let them do the work. Teach them how to do the work like you will teach any intern. Provide them with the necessary tools to succeed, and see where this AI transformation take you. Of course, ideally, while you are doing all of these things, your employee teach them how to do things like prompt engineering, because prompt engineering is a very important tool. You are essentially teaching your employee how to most effectively communicate with AI so that AI can do the
mm,
job to a level that is satisfactory of you. And imagine that a future, right, where every single employee is augmented with AI. This human being can quite literally through AI work on maybe 3 to 4 things at the same time, because they are just
mm,
prompt, send,
mm,
prompt
mm,
and send,
mm.
and the AI are actually doing the heavy lifting. And eventually, as human, we
Mm.
just review the work and make sure that it's accurate and to a standard that we are happy with.
So I'm also inferring from what you said, right? It sounds like as professionals, as white collar professionals, we need to get better at written communication because so far what we're communicating with AI is all written. We need to give
That's right.
context, we need to give knowledge. So we have to definitely upgrade our written communication skills. But
That's
also
right.
from what I'm hearing as a human being, because we're checking the work of the intern, so we need to be able to be more critical, right? So in some way, retain a level of critical thinking and be able to be critical about, okay, this is what the work is missing, it's not good enough, or it looks like AI slop, as what a lot of people are saying, like it looks good, but actually there's no substance. So would you agree that these are the two skills, written communication, critical thinking skills?
Yes, definitely. And it's so much easier than, handling intern, in my personal opinion, because um, when you chat with an intern and you provide feedback, you need to think about how you need to give that feedback, right? Because
Mm,
you don't want to hurt the feelings of another person, which is a very human thing to do,
yes.
to be empathetic. But you don't have to worry about hurting the feelings of an AI. And therefore, you can be very blunt about it, and AI
Mm,
will actually improve their work
mm,
with your feedback. And over time, right, as you provide enough sufficient feedback and as you provide sufficient context over time, AI can only get better at whatever task that you give them
mm.
to do.
Awesome. So I think this is really interesting that you shared that. I'm also going to present the elephant in the room, right? Okay, fine. Maybe the narrative and the story today is that, hey, let's all work with AI and let's try and be more productive with AI. But I think the elephant in the room still says that, hey, will my boss one day replace me? Because AI technology is always improving. And what if one day we reach artificial general intelligence, meaning AI can think for itself and plan and strategize and do everything on its own, or when the tools and the agents and orchestrating the agents are so good, right, that my job will be replaced, right? So I think just addressing that elephant in the room, what do you think?
Well, I guess it's too early to say what will happen when AGI eventually appear. But right
Mm,
now, at this stage, I would say that I know it sounds very cliche, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. A person is highly unlikely to get replaced by AI, but you will probably get replaced by someone who knows how to use AI. So if someone actually gets replaced, and the reason the company uh give them is, their job are being replaced by AI, I think there can only be two scenarios. One, the person is dealing with very low level job, perhaps administrative or even data entry in nature. Those jobs are definitely going to get replaced by AI. But if that person is not involved in a job that is so low level that an intern can do, and if for some reason they are being told that they are getting released because of AI, right? Then probably whoever that is letting them go is lying to them, because I genuinely don't believe that any human should be let go or can be let go because AI actually took over their job, unless their job is really super low level, like a data entry or admin
Mm,
assistant.
yeah.
So, and even if their job is in those area, it shouldn't stop them from learning AI and adopting AI, because a person who is able to do data entry, if
Mm,
they a person who does data entry work, right, if they are able to leverage on the skills of AI or tools that is intelligent in nature, right, they will be able to do the work so much faster and so
mm,
much more efficient. Their productivity quite literally will skyrocket. Um,
mm,
so even if your role is in a very low level, fresher level, you should still consider the use of AI. In fact, these positions are prime for AI transformation, and they should really keep an eye on the development of AI and increasingly adopt the use of AI in their work.
mm. I think this is really helpful. And let's get back to maybe the strategic level, right? I think we've addressed the concern that actually most organizations face. A lot of people don't dare to ask that question, but actually that's on the back of their head, you know. When my boss asked me to write the SOP down, when my boss asked me to train the AI, will I get replaced in this case? So I think it's assuring to hear that we should continue to value add as professionals and upskill and upgrade ourselves.
Yeah.
So on a more strategic side, as managers, we need to relook at roles. Am I right? So we need to rethink like maybe some of the team members that we're hiring, what kind of skill sets they're bringing in, and to a certain extent, maybe even hire. I would say a hybrid professional like yourself, right? What I mean by hybrid is someone who has a functional expertise like you, like maybe in HR or finance, but then also is very familiar and very comfortable with the technical side. So what's your view on that? Should companies start hiring more people like yourself? And what should that proportion be, right? If let's say they were to hire people like you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we need to think of all these tech adoption and technology tools at our disposal right now as like the adoption of computer. In the initial phase of computer adoption, probably people who are more tech savvy will be seen as a hybrid professional, much like people who are very comfortable and really productive using AI is seen as a hybrid professional now. But in the near future, it's just going to be as if augmenting an employee with a computer. Eventually, everyone who gets a job will need to know how to use a computer and also know how to use an AI. So right now, it might seem like a hybrid scenario that we're talking about here, but I truly believe that in the near future, this is going to be very normal.
Mm,
Whether the company should hire a hybrid professional depends on their level of technology adoption and how much they trust technology, and also how much of the value that they feel that their company is providing comes from using technology. So all these are the consideration that any company will have to consider.
Mm,
In the near future, I feel that everybody will be hiring a hybrid professional in some sense. People who are
mm,
highly skilled in one functional area, but also are very comfortable using AI. So there will be kind
mm,
of like a AI HR, AI finance, and also, and of course, we are already seeing that now, which is like AI developers who code with the assistance of AI, right? And of course,
mm,
not to mention the other tech role like DevOps and product management, are progressively using more and more AI. In the near future, all roles will be augmented with AI, LLM, in some way, and then they will just be more productive, much like the
mm,
adoption of the computer.
mm. Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point that you made over there, that eventually it's just like using the internet. Everyone will know how to use the internet.
Exactly.
Everyone would know how to use a computer. So you have to move on with the times, right? As a white collar professional, no matter what it is.
That's right.
But as managers, like as managers, how should we see this? Like, should we be redesigning some of the jobs? How should we think about maybe job redesign? For example, like, uh, and maybe if you can, maybe explain briefly what's job redesign. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So job redesign is basically you are changing the job scope or the job description of a person, so that they actually do the job in a new way, usually augmented with, say, a new piece of software or a new piece of technology. For example, I think in the early days, right, I think car manufacturing is very human driven. But right now, we see car manufacturing have almost zero human input at the production stage, at the production line. They are all being taken over by some kind of, robotic arms that will actually assemble the car. And I think that in the near future, we are just going to be using AI as if like it's a browser in a sense, to allow us to actually see information, and also execute tasks that is supposed to be done in the digital space. So of course, the job redesign in a way, right? We have to change how the people do the work with the augmentation of AI. First thing first that I feel that every company should do is two things. First, you need to communicate the safety to the company, to the people involved in this change. You need to give them this psychological safety that AI is not there to replace them. AI is actually there to augment them, just like every white collar professional has a computer for them to do their work. So you need to let them feel safe, um, because if they don't feel safe, if they feel that the day that AI adoption is completed, they are going to be out of a job, then you're going to see a lot of resistance there. You're going to experience a lot of friction in that change. So first of all, you need to let them feel safe, and communicate to them that AI adoption is really just for increasing productivity, not to remove any single person. Now, the second thing that you need to do is obviously to train them. With the It's going to be very, very similar to digital transformation or any other kind of transformation initiative at your workplace. Start with training, start with teaching them and letting them familiarize with the tools that they are going to be using. And then after that, let them use that tool, and let them run with that tool. And of course, you need to communicate the value of learning all these tools, right? So give consider a professional today, a white collar person. What could be a universal value, right, uh, for them to learn tools of AI? Well, personally, I see it as in the near future, every role will involve AI or AI assistant or even AI agent. So the value here will be transferable skill set. By learning AI, you are not just making yourself more productive, you are also making yourself ready for the workplace of the future. And even if you choose not to work at a location or at a job that is very AI centric and technology driven. Eventually, every company will have to use AI to a certain extent, and you're just keeping yourself employable for the workplace of the future. So I think that's really important for the employee to know that they will remain employable if they learn AI. And of course, finally, I think that tasks that are really very prime for AI automation is transactional tasks such as data entry. Those are prime for automation even before the AI age. So right now, things like possibly email email drafting can be done with an AI agent that has the relevant context and is able to answer queries, right? And then, of course, for human, we are just going to be taking on that higher level thinking, checking the work of AI, making sure that everything is, correct and basically AI is not making any errors, as they are quite prone to that when they are not given the necessary context. So yeah, so we should maintain that high level thinking and really make the transactional task as automated as possible.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely a supporter for going into more value adding tasks, more higher order thinking, more strategic tasks and things like that. Um, I'm also wondering, as a manager, right? You are one of the more technology forward type of managers. How are you helping your own team members, which are HR professionals?
Mhm.
Because your portfolio is HR, right? So how are you
Yeah.
helping your individual contributors, your team members to adopt AI? How are you coaching them? Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the first thing that I always tell anybody when it comes to the adoption of AI is that we are now allowing ourselves to communicate with a computer in a language that we are comfortable in, instead of having to pick up or learn any programming language. I feel that remove a lot of the friction that we are getting from people, knowing that they already have the skill set to be productive with AI. So so that's the first thing that I tell them. You are already in a very good position to be very productive with AI, because as long as you're able to text or chat with someone else, you can do the same thing, just that with AI, and they get the job done. And of course, the other thing is that when it comes to agentic workflow nowadays, right? Um, the agentic tools that these AI or LLM use, they don't come out of the box with the agentic tools, or rather, most LLM is only able to communicate. They are unable to get things done. They can tell you how to get things done, and then you go and do it yourself, right? But rather, what if, let's say, we can actually equip this LLM with tools, and then they will be able to get things done. So I feel that my role here in my company as HR, and also taking on some of these technical aspect of the role of the job, is that I need to build tools that AI could use uh, to communicate with, and then to get things done. So there are two main tools that I always fall back on. The first one is AppSheet. It's a Google Workspace app. It essentially is really just an interface to Google Sheet in the back end, which serves as a database. So by entering certain data, the app sheet could actually run automation to actually, like for example, send email to a new joiner in the case of onboarding, excuse me, and also able to check that so-called the data integrity of our so-called of our employee base, to make sure that they are intact, and also so-called have the necessary information that is needed to be there at any particular time. So to take this a step further, right, my role can also leverage on tools such as NAM, which is very popular right now. Excuse me, which is very popular right now among the AI and the LLM enthusiasts. field, because you're essentially able to equip AI or LLM with automation workflow, which they can trigger, which the LLM or the AI agent is able to trigger uh, to get things done. So I feel that my role right now is really building the foundation of apps so that our team member can be productive with. And later on is to build this workflow or tools that the LLM can actually use to actually execute tasks and get things done instead of
Mm,
really just a chatbot, communicating and moving information
mm.
between two entity.
So it sounds like you're building like the structured data, the context, to kind of set the necessary foundations that your team to enable your teams to work better with AI, right? And have more consistent results as a manager.
That's right.
And I guess you are kind of leading by example, right? Because you're already building some of these tools and you're vibe coding and you're showing how automation is done. Then naturally, it probably feels a little less intimidating. If my manager is doing it, then I should probably learn and also do it myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite interesting in terms of an approach. But let's say I'm not a very technical person. Like maybe I'm not as technical, or I'm not as curious as you are. How would you enable?
Mhm.
But you still believe that AI is important. But how would you enable your team to actually succeed with AI? Because as a manager, my core skill is leadership, right?
Mhm.
So it's about communication and leadership, but maybe not building things. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Like, do I actually engage in coaching, or what do you think?
Well, personally, my affinity with technology is because I'm passionate, first of all, in the first place. I like technology, but of course, I cannot expect everybody to be as passionate as myself in the technology front. There are certain people who just, who are not passionate, about technology, and they don't really care about advancement in the technology space. So I feel that one of the most important thing, or rather one of the most helpful scenario where you can convince someone to use AI or at least start using AI is when they run into a problem. So that's why there's this concept called just-in-time coaching. When a team member comes to you and say that, hey, I have this problem. I can't seem to, be able to complete this task within this period of time. Can I request for a deadline extension? So I feel that that is whenever somebody comes to you with this problem of they don't think they're able to complete a task in time and request for a deadline extension, is actually an opportunity for the manager to actually encourage the use of AI. I mean, this is assuming that the person is not already using AI. So if you can actually provide the value and tell them that, hey, actually you can get so much more done with the time that you have just by using I think at that stage in time when this person is falling behind in deadline, right, they will be very motivated to learn AI because that's when they will be able to see the value of AI. And if they eventually get a job done to a satisfactory level with the use of I can only imagine this person will continue using AI to actually get their job done because they will realize that it's faster and probably easier. So when somebody comes to you with a problem such as requesting for deadline extension, I feel that is really a great time for any manager to encourage their employee or team member to pick up AI if they are not already using AI. Then, of course, there are the standard things that you need to assess as well. Some people ask for deadline extension, not because they are not using AI, but because they just have too much work to do, right? So, first of all, access that, let them speak, let hear their problem, whether they just have too much tasks or they really are just not optimizing the use of AI. But if, of course, if the manager assess that they could be more productive with the use of AI, go ahead and encourage them to use it. That would be one of the best scenario to introduce and getting them to start using AI to actually be more productive.
Mm. I think that's a really good suggestion. Using an opportunity where it seems like a challenge or a crisis, and then actually getting the team and encouraging the team to try out a new technology tool. And it sounds to me like it's just getting them to try it out, right? Like if they don't try it out, they can't see the benefit, they can't see the value of it,
Mm.
and maybe they are even somewhat scared of it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good advice over there. As we're kind of wrapping up the conversation, Cadell, I was just wondering, how do you see organizations evolving with AI, especially non-tech organizations, right? Like how should they evolve with tools like AI, like what are some of the best practices you've seen or you are actually adopting within your organization to help people get AI ready or to help the workforce get AI ready? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna share one observation that I've made in some of the company that I work with, especially my current firm, which is super tech forward and AI ready, which is basically to establish a center of excellence within the firm, um, of people who are very good with all these AI technology, AI engineers, for example. A team of AI engineers. So it doesn't have to be a big team, can just be 1 or 2 person. Slick currently has a workforce of about 500 employees, and we have only a handful of AI engineers here who is able to help with building AI apps. So just a few days ago, um, I saw in our company group chat on Slack in the general channel. This so basically the Singapore sales head partnered with our Hong Kong sales head to build a tool that requires that works with this software called Fathom, which is a meeting tool. So they join the meeting when the salesperson is in a meeting with usually a client. So Fathom's job is really just to record the meeting, have a transcript ready, later on summarize what are some of the things that needs to be done. So what the sales manager these days do is they need to provide coaching to help sales employees hit their KPI, sales target and stuff, right? So one of the things that they do is that they will review the transcript, but it's a very tedious job. You just be reading transcript, all day, every day. So this Singapore sales head partnered with our Hong Kong sales head and then went to look for one of these AI engineer in the center of excellence to build an AI app. And right now, what they do is that they build an app that they call the I can't remember the name, but it works together with Fathom, whereby they will download the transcript, and then after that they will upload it onto this AI software that will read the transcript, and then they will provide the sales manager with things that they can coach the employee on. Like, for example, a missed opportunity to do a trial close, a missed opportunity to basically introduce another company product to upsell, the client and whatsoever. So essentially, the sales manager went from reading transcript day in, day out to now uploading transcript onto an AI software, and the AI software is actually able to give them an initial uh, analysis of what went well and what did not went so well in the sales call. And armed with this, tool and the insights and the report generated by this AI software, they're able to have more effective one-to-one conversation with the sales rep and improve their productivity from there. So that product is not done developing yet. So right now, the manual work remains that they need to download the transcript, upload it onto the software. So they are trying to build an integration together with Fathom, so that this transcript automatically gets moved on to this AI software database. After the call, immediately this transcript can be, as soon as a transcript is available, it will start analyzing. And then the employee or the sales rep get to see that. The manager get to see it as well in real time. And then when they have a one-on-one conversation, they already have the context already. They already know what are the missed opportunities, what are the area for improvement, what the sales rep is doing very, very well on. So this kind of so-called environment, I feel that is only available, or rather will only become available if the culture of the company is highly acceptance of tech and AI. And that is why that for every company who is looking to adopt AI, or even have your employee be very proactive about and be very proactive and open about sharing the kind of software that they need to the AI engineer, requires first the culture to be there, and then of course support them through the Center of Excellence. Maybe consider start by hiring one AI engineer first, regardless of the size of your team, and then slowly build a Center of Excellence from there. So when people need tools, they need specialized AI tools that only they need it, they can actually approach that AI engineer to actually help them by making that software a reality. Dylan, I think you're muted.
Okay, I think this is really good advice, and thank you for sharing your company case study publicly with us to let us know how an AI forward company is actually behaving. It also shares like an example of how citizen developers can actually come into the picture, work with IT approved developers, and actually create system integration, right? Instead of waiting for the industry to come out with a software integration, like you are actually accelerating your timeline and making sure that your workflow is smoother and that you get what you need in a much faster time. So I think Center of Excellence is definitely a very, very trendy practice that's coming up and coming. We're also seeing, as we're training a lot of companies on Gen AI as a training provider, that many of them are also getting a baseline understanding, as what you said, prompt engineering, but also the use of the tools and what not to do and what to do with the tools, right? As we set some guardrails. So we're actually in the beginning of a very exciting period of the future of work. My hope is that that humans can still thrive together with AI, and not just that managers are embracing a future where there's totally no human workforce, or just a very bare human workforce, right? That's rather that when we do our training, we always say, hey, do more work with the same amount of people
That's right.
with the tools that you're using. So with that, Cadell, it's been great talking to you, and thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And we look forward to maybe future sessions as this technology evolves. Maybe we'll even go even more technical and see what's exciting. And I know you're a developer yourself. You're building a lot of interesting applications like chatbots and stuff like that. So if you would like to learn more about Cadell's work, feel free to connect with Cadell Teng, CADELLTENG on LinkedIn. And with that, we shall end this webinar session. Thank you for